Well, what's going on, Cardinal Nation? Well, a sixth consecutive win in this one. Six straight wins, and in this game tonight, starter Erick Fedde went the distance with a complete game shutout. That's right, complete game shutout, something that is not very common uh, in this era of baseball. And yeah, so wow. First ever complete game for Erick Fedde, and ironically against his former team, nonetheless, the team where he was a World Series champion, spent his first 6 years in DC, and then actually uh, pitched over in Japan uh, for 1 year. Then was with the Chicago White Sox last year, and then we acquired him at the trade deadline. And yeah, so wow, a 10-0 shutout win, a second straight shutout win, and yes, we just dominated this from start to end. So, back-to-back walks to start out the game by Lars Nootbaar and Mason Wynn, and then Nolan Arenado with a single to load the bases for Wills Contreras, and Contreras on the first pitch with a two-run double to uh, put us up 2-0. Uh, as Contreras, who's been red hot after a pretty cold start to the year, he's now getting back into form. So that would put us up 2-0. And in this game, we would see the return of Ivan Herrera making his first start in about a month since a knee injury. He actually was DHing in this game, so we're carrying three catchers currently with Pages, Herrera, and Yohel Pozo. Luke and Baker sent down to the minors. And the Nationals in the bottom of the first would have a leadoff double by All-Star shortstop from last year, C.J. Abrams, but he would be stranded. Then the top of the third, Ivan Herrera with a sacrifice fly to put us up 3-0, scoring Brendan Donovan. And then Victor Scott with a sac fly to put us up 4-0, scoring Pedro Pages. Then the top of the fifth, base hits by Arenado and Contreras, and then Herrera with an RBI double to put us up 5-0. And then Jordan Walker with a sac fly to put us up 6-0. And Fedde cruising along. We gave up a second hit to Abrams in the bottom of the sixth, but then first baseman Nathaniel Lowe would ground into a double play to keep the Nationals off the board. He would strike out two in the seventh, and then in the top of the eighth, Walker would be hit by a pitch and then walks by Pages and Scott, loading the bases. Mason Wynn would put us up 7-0 with an RBI single, and then Pages would score on a wild pitch to put us up 8-0. The bases would then be reloaded as Brendan Donovan would walk, and then Wills Contreras with a bases loaded walk to put us up 9-0. And then the top of the ninth, Victor Scott with an RBI ground out. Walker would score from second on an error to put us up 10-0. So, and Fedde on the mound to start the bottom of the ninth, going for the complete game and the complete game shutout. And his pitch count was creeping to 100 pitches. Depending on how quick the ninth inning would be, he would potentially be taken out. He would give up a leadoff single to James Wood, but then a double play to, just like that, there would be two outs. Then on a 2-2 count, he would get catcher Keibert Ruiz to pop out to end it. So, what a game. Probably the best game of Erick Fedde's career. So, he debuted back in 2018. So, this is the first Cardinals complete game since Miles Michaelis in 2022. And I believe at that game, Michaelis was only like 2 outs from a no-hitter, which I think was against the Pirates. So, yeah, complete games, you really don't see them anymore. They're honestly not super common in today's era of baseball. So, um, yeah. So what a performance! Pitching has been outstanding these past few games. Uh, and a lot of small ball too. We haven't hit a lot of home runs lately, but taking it any way we can. So 3 RBIs by Contreras, 2 by Herrera. Uh, we left 10 runners on base, but still. We also walked 8 times in this game, so just a great performance all around. Fedde, complete game shutout, gave up 6 hits, struck out 8, and did not walk a batter. So he was outstanding. So, uh, 3 of the 6 hits, so half of the hits by the Nationals were by their shortstop C.J. Abrams. So, yeah, definitely a moment that he'll never forget. Uh, yeah. So, and Fedde is now one of 2 pitchers to have complete game, or sorry, one of 3 pitchers to have complete game shutouts this season. The others are Nathan Eovaldi of the Rangers and Michael King of the Padres. So those are 2 good pitchers. So Wells Contreras now has a 21-game on-base streak. He has 15 RBIs in that during this streak. So we've surrendered just 13 runs in our last 6 games. It's our longest winning streak in almost 2 years. So playing great. So now we can look for another series win. Tomorrow afternoon it'll be Andre Palante getting the start against right-hander Trevor Williams for Washington. Ironically, actually, I've seen him quite a bit when he was with Pittsburgh. So, till Saturday, comics were saying go Cards.